is the intro to Premiere Pro. And Premiere Pro is a program where you can create videos and video editing. It's I looked it up just to confirm, but this is what some movie studios use to edit their movies. I mean, it's like the real deal. Final Cut Pro is also used, DaVinci Resolve, which is sort of new and that's actually free. It's actually a really great program. They also use that, but Premiere is one of my favorites because it can just do so much. So let's get started because there's a lot to go over. All right, so let me first share my screen.
I think he sent me that or sent us. Google Docs.
All right.
Open it up.
Okie dokie. Okay, so can you see my screen on the back there?
I can. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and open up the program. I already have it open here. All right, so the first thing you'll see when you open the program are just like every Adobe program, they're all the same. You're gonna just see the last few projects you worked on. You can start tutorials here, which I've never used this, but I'm sure there's some great things here. If I need to find anything, a lot of times I'll YouTube it. I still YouTube things when I'm trying to figure something out. So YouTube is a great tool, a great teacher. That's how I learned Premiere in the first place. I learned through YouTube. And then here's your new project, open project, just your basic layout. So let's go ahead and start fresh. Let's start a new project. And this pops up. So what Adobe Premiere already does, which is great, it already is asking you to create a project folder, because what it will do is auto save for you. This is where you're going to keep all your images and everything. Sometimes this is set up. You can set this up before, but we're going to set up together because setting up your folders is one of the most important things, because Adobe Premiere pulls all of your images, your videos, your music, and everything from these folders as links. And if you do not have them in the same folder, if you move a folder while you're creating something, all of your links will be broken. So I already from the beginning, I like to start with a good folder setup. All right, so this can be OE training. Premiere Pro. That's what we'll name this project. Let's go ahead and browse. So what they do is ask you for the name, and then they ask you immediately for the location, because what they're going to do is start auto saving. They'll create a file and it will auto save your file in this location. So let's browse. Now I've already created something, but I'm going to create something fresh for us. So go here, Costa Rica, Edge, training. Okay, so training videos. Okay, so let's go ahead and I like to do large icons. Okay, I'm going to create a folder. I'll say new folder. And then I'll say OE Premiere Pro training. Okay, so within this folder, so that's my main folder. Within this folder, I like to create 3 folders. The first folder is video files. The second folder, image files. Now, this is how I do it. You can figure out your own way, but I've been doing this for years now, and it just works. Because what happens is sometimes these large projects, you'll have all of these files and they'll be all mixed up, the JPEGs with the videos, with the audio, and it's a mess. If anybody goes into your file after you, you have to search. It's just a mess. So I immediately go ahead and create these folders within my folder. So now it says select folder. I don't want to select, actually I do want to select this folder. So this folder is the main folder. So here is, if I go back, training folder, my 3 folders. In this folder is where I want to save my actual Pro Presenter file, because, excuse me, not Pro Presenter, Premiere Profile. This is where I want to actually save the Premiere Profile, because this is where it's going to pull from these different things. So I'm going to select this folder. That's where the OE Training Premiere Pro file will be, and I say okay. Okie dokie. So now I'm all set up. Now when I go on my desktop and I look in that folder, go to that folder, and it created it for me. Motion's Edge, training, Premiere Pro training, the OEPP training folder. And it already has it set up. And if you see here, you can see my Premiere profile. So this is perfect. All right, so let's go back into Premiere Pro. Actually, let's do this first. What I'll do, because we're going to now act like we gathered all of our files that we want to use in this Premiere Pro file. Now, I've already done that, of course, so let me go back here and go to Premiere Pro Training, Sample Project, Training Materials. Okay, so this is what I already set up before we started, but I'm going to take these video files that I just pulled from Pexels. I'm going to take these video files and go ahead and put it in my video folder. A lot of times you'll set this up because you'll know what video files you already have. You already have your audio files. You already have your image files. So they'll be in these folders. So let me go ahead and just move those things. This must be moved. All right. Let me go ahead and move my image files that I gathered already. And let me move my audio file. Okay, so now our folder is completely set up and we'll pull from these things. Okay, so let's go and get back into Premiere Pro. All right, so here's the layout. So the first thing on the list for the training is creating folders, which we just did. Now the tools and the layout. This is just going to be just a simple overview. Now there's a lot to learn in Premiere Pro, but this will really help just make it not so intimidating. All right. So let's go ahead and import our files because this will give us a better look at everything. So in this bottom left panel or little square here, this is the import. So you can right click anywhere in this area or this area, and it gives you the import option. So you import. Let's go back to our folder. Let's go ahead and import our audio file. I downloaded a file from Motion Array. And if you're not familiar with that, Motion Array, you may be. Are you familiar with Motion Array, Clint? Okay, well, Motion Array is a great resource. Now they have a paid version and a free version. There's always places you can find free music, but this is a really good one. I'll send y'all a link after the training. And you can pay for it. We pay for it at my job. I don't pay for it personally, but there are a lot of free music on there. There is a lot of free music on there. There are a lot of resources on there. Also, sound effects that are free and quality. So you just have to click on the free little checkbox, and it gives you an option. Great stuff. I mean, you try to find as many free things as you can. Okay, so we've imported our audio. Now we're going to go to our image folder. We're going to import our images. And we're going to right click, import, and we're going to go to our video files and import our videos. All right, so we have our setup here. All right, so now this is a great way. So now this is in this little section are all of our imported images. We have the audio, we have our little images, and we have video. This area is your timeline. This is where everything is going to be built. Now, when you first open Premiere, there's obviously nothing here. The first thing that you drag over, that creates your program window. So if you're working and you want to work in 4K, then if you drag your first imported video over here and it's a 4K video, it'll create a 4K screen. If you drag your first thing over here and it's an image, for example, it creates the pixels how big the image is, and we don't want that. We want to usually, some people are working in 4K at this point, but most people are still working in 1080. So I know that I downloaded this as a 1080, so I'm gonna click on my video, hold it, drag and drop it over to my timeline. To make sure it's 1920 by 1080, you can see here 1920 by 1080. You can fit your video to your program window, or you can do whatever you like, 75%. So this is how you change it here. This is how you change it. And I personally like to see my edges when I edit, because I just want to make sure nothing's cut off. And when it's fit, it doesn't always do well for me. So that's what I personally like to do, but you can do whatever you like. Um, so there you go. So again, so here's our program window. Here's our timeline. This is where everything that we do is going to get done. Here is our effects panel. We'll play with that. We're going to really work with that. And then here are our effect controls. These are the main ones. Now there are a ton of different menus and options you can have, but these are the ones you will always use. These are the ones that will always be something that you always go back to.